What's up everybody? On this week's video, I'll be talking about my first ball python clutch in 7 years. But before we get started, big shout out to Flexin Pythons. I'm gonna put all his information down below. Please be sure to follow his Instagram and YouTube. Let's get the show started. So in 2012, I had my first ball python clutch, and in 2014 I had my last. And over the course of a couple years after that, I did have to give up my collection. I did save two, Paul the Ivory ball python and Momo the black pastel calico, and those two led to the clutch that I have today. Now, over the course of the quarantine last year, I really did get back into ball pythons. I was in a better place, and it was something I always knew I was going to get back into. So I'm super excited for this clutch, and today we'll take a look at the egg pulling, the incubator that they're in right now, and what I'm going to do to prevent losing another ball python clutch. So let's go. So this is Paul, the Ivory ball python. An Ivory is a super yellow belly, so it needs 2 copies of the yellow belly gene in order to be expressed. When they're younger, they actually do have more color. As they age, it fades out, and you can kind of see the remnants of a yellow line down its back. I got Paul from Maki Goskowitz of Pacific Coast Reptiles 11 years ago now, in 2010. And he's been a classroom pet for 10 years, and he's great with kids, has never bit, and would even put on shows by eating in front of the class, no problem. He was one that I could just never get rid of. He'll always be with me. So I kept him from my previous collection. He's the father of the clutch. Since he's since he's an Ivory, all the babies would at least be yellow belly. Let's take a look at Momo the mama. So here's Momo. She is a black pastel calico, and she was one of the very first ball pythons that I produced, and she was born in 2012. When she was born initially, you could really tell that she was a calico, but as she grew, the oranges kind of faded, but you kind of see the chaining towards the tail right here, and there's a few white spots around here, like right here there's a white dot. I know, kind of hard to see, but she's a low expression. In fact, the black pastels are low expression as far as calicos are concerned. She comes from a flora fauna line calico and an ENG line black pastel. Now the ENG line at the time, it supposedly did not kink and had a better chance at more perfect babies. And as far as the super black pastel is concerned, which was one of my goals with her. So I kept her. She was one of the first I produced, and she was the mother of this clutch. She kind of struck at me right now opening the tub. You know, she's back on food, wants to put back on weight again. So I'm just really proud of her because, you know, I produced her and she's made eggs, and hopefully I'll get 2 babies from her on this clutch. So Momo was actually in the process of laying her eggs on my first day back at school. So I had to come in on my lunch hour to pull these eggs. She was really sweet. She didn't strike out at me. She did hiss a little bit, but she allowed me to take her eggs away from her. No problem. As you can see, she did give me 3 slugs and 2 pearly whites. Now, the fact that they are first-time parents, or it could be a temperature issue, there's really no telling how or why they came out slugs. But I'm super proud of her and the fact that she did give me 2 perfect eggs. The 2 eggs candled perfect. I put a line where the embryos are, and they're currently sitting in the incubator, which we'll take a look at right now. So I did go with a homemade incubator. I was considering purchasing one, but with only one clutch this year, I decided to make it. I actually got the ingredients to make this incubator in January, well in anticipation of the clutch. Let me show you what it's made of. So we have a very basic thermostat, which I got off of Amazon. It holds temperatures between 87 and 89. I have it set for 89, and it does drop a little bit, but the range stays consistent. Just as long as it doesn't get too hot, I'm happy with it. So it's a Coleman incubator, and inside I do have a few water bottles on the bottom, some egg crate to keep the egg box up, and it's actually heated with some heat wire, and it works really good. Does temperature really well. I did add this little fan at the beginning, but I found that the temperatures were too hot with this, so I took it out, and it's been doing a really good job, so I'm pretty happy with it. Another addition to the snake room that I'm really happy about is an air conditioner. A caution to the viewers, the next few pics may be disturbing. I lost my last clutch when I moved into this house in 2014. I didn't realize how hot it got here, so this air conditioner is going to be a lifesaver. I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I really want to thank you for joining me on this adventure. And next week, I'm going to revisit the double recessive projects with the VPI axanthic puzzle. So I hope you guys could join me next week. See you later. Have a good one. Take care.